Hello and welcome back to the... Okay, we're up late. We're up, and it's late. We got new phones.
Yeah, sorry.
But they're not the kind of new phones you might be thinking of. They're from our generous donors, plural for sure, over on Throne. We're downgrading to flip phones. So we hunted down flip phones because they're hard to find, actually.
Mine's Barbie.
Barbie. Allison's got a Barbie phone and it's incredible.
He goes, "Hi, Barbie."
I'm so excited for yours.
But
Allison,
in actual Barbie's voice, not in stupid, dumb coworker voice.
we've been wanting to do this for that reminds me of how much stuff has happened since we streamed last. There's too much.
I don't think we've streamed since I got fired, right?
I don't think so. We'll get to that for everybody who doesn't know.
We will?
Yeah, probably, right? I mean, what else are we going to talk about here?
Okay.
I've hated my phone forever, and I probably have talked about that on the on the streams a lot. And we've been wanting to downgrade forever, and we finally did it. We pulled the trigger. Our numbers are flipped, and our numbers are switched over, and now we got phones.
It's bigger than I remember.
Mine is Japanese.
I don't remember phones being this big.
Yeah, I don't remember them being this big either, and I was smaller, so like these must be pretty big. They have a big screen because they still want to do they want to do some of the smartphone things.
I feel like the screen could stay big and the bottom part could get a little smaller.
Throne link isn't in the description. It's throne.com/doormonster, I think. Throne.com.
I went to bed after your stream and woke up to you being fired. Me too.
Is there anything on there currently? No, because somebody keeps buying it out before we stream.
Did we have things on here?
Probably.
Oh no. The game!
You got the game, yeah.
Ooh!
I don't currently have anything on the throne.
The mushroom lamp has been one of the best things I've gotten
Mushroom
in a long
lamp is
time,
great.
actually.
I do have lunch and lattes on the throne, which are always appreciated.
Look at this little thing that looks like candy.
Yeah, I like the string.
It has a little, anyway.
What am I saying? Yeah. Anyway, I'm very excited. I like being able to I don't know. I like the buttons, and I like being able to talk like this and not with a rectangle held to my face. And I like that she can't use TikTok, and I like that I don't get notifications. There's no apps going off. Duolingo ain't gonna be sending me dumbass little messages. I can keep track of it all by myself. Thank you very much. And if I want to do anything that's on a computer, I'll use a computer, like God intended.
I have email on mine, and I have GPS. I have maps.
That's cool.
Google Maps.
I don't have maps. We do need to wait. Actually, if anybody has a way, Allison has paranoia about me getting kidnapped or dying, and so if anybody knows of a way to GPS track somebody without having to route through a phone, let me know. I'm wondering if I can just wear a bracelet or something that she can track me on with her computer.
We were thinking also walkie-talkies?
I can't see the phones because of the logo. Are we holding them in the wrong place? I don't want to just carry another phone with me. I mean, we can also just call each other on the phone. We're probably going to call people a lot more because we have the text with the little buttons again, so we have to get used to calling people.
I think you just look cooler when you're scrolling through a text, like a flip phone.
Yeah, right? You definitely look cooler with the flip phone. Hey, Allison, call me.
Okay. Sorry, I have to discard this that I was sending to... My hang-up button's not working, so just give me a minute. Okay. Still learning. Call?
Yeah. Give me a ring. In case I'm just sitting here one day minding my own business.
Everyone already...
What's the sitch? Fuck, it's still going.
Oh, it doesn't... You can set it to...
Anyway.
Can set it to answer when you open.
Oh, can you?
Everyone already had that era of their life.
Well,
you
I
came in
didn't.
late. Everyone
So it's my turn.
Everyone already did that era.
It's my turn.
I had that era. Anyway.
I haven't gotten to do it. Previously, my ringtone was the All Might ringtone from My Hero, though, and that was pretty great, too. Where it just rings and my phone goes, "A phone call is here!" Really, really loud.
That was nice, because Kyle has problems, answering your phone.
I need to amp up the volume of that one, actually, because it's not loud enough.
The Kim Possible one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the MP3 file, I just need to, increase the volume of.
Mine's actually a mirror on the front.
Oh yeah, that's cool too. It's such a clever phone. I like it. You get your own little like pocket beauty mirror and stuff.
It's actually really nice to check your teeth.
I can probably if you DM me, I can just send you the All Might ringtone MP3 that I have because I took it from a YouTube video.
It was so fun when your phone would go off in public. A phone call is here.
Yeah, I might switch back to that one at some point. It's not off the table.
Did you get my photo of
Oh, I don't know.
that I took
didn't
of
see.
you that I sent in a text message?
They are actual retro phones. They're not smartphones.
But they're not actually retro. They are made like mine's Barbie because it came out with the Barbie movie. Like it was a.
I have to choose to download it.
So they still make flip phones, and you can only use those. You actually can't use old. You can sometimes use old phones if the cell phone carrier you have does 2G or 3G. 3G.
Yeah, but that barely
the old
exists
phones,
anymore.
Right, so they still have to be able to connect to 3G towers because old phones can't use the new Gs. So
the new G's.
you gotta do that. So were you able to see it?
No, I tried clicking on it and then it asked me if I wanted to add contacts. So maybe I have to have somebody in my contacts to accept.
Okay.
I don't know. These are alien devices now because we haven't used them in too long.
I do remember when 3G was the newest thing, and my mom was worried about like what it did to like our brains and stuff. Like
like the radiation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
You know, it's always worth asking. It's also just worth.
I'm gonna call you Allison here, actually.
Okay. It's also just worth listening to the answer. This solves all the problems. It's okay to be like, do vaccines work? And then when someone who has the qualifications to be like, yeah, then you just go, oh, okay. And if you go, do vaccines make you sick? And someone's like, a little. You're like, okay. You know what I mean? Like, the question's always fine.
Yeah.
You just have to accept the answers of sorts, I guess. It's really the denialism that's the problem, right? Like,
this is where no dumb
will
questions
3G
comes
melt
from.
my brain? No.
Right. Well, now we know.
But then someone's like, Actually, I even think it's okay to be skeptical continuously of professionals who know what they're talking about. That's fine. We'll look at it. I actually think it's okay to still be skeptical. You just can't make it your personality. Like, I should never have to know that you think 3G is a problem. I mean, I guess you could tell me.
If you think 3G is a problem, you might be a little behind at the moment.
Or, I'm sorry, 5G, whatever the G's. Whatever G it is.
However many
G's
we got.
If you think 5G is, like, I don't know, causing your brain to melt or, like, giving you Alzheimer's or whatever, this one thing, though not all things, actually most things do not exist on, like, a moral spectrum. They're just applicable to people as you start establishing, like, flags about them. Do you know what I mean? So, like, if someone is like, I don't believe, I think 5G is, like...
Like, that's not inherently a red flag unless paired with other things that then make it a red flag.
Right.
Yeah.
Because most things are actually not existing on the moral spectrum. So if someone's like...
I agree.
Like, I think 5G is melting brains. I'd be like, okay, but...
Speaking of moral spectrums, got a hell of a response to this last video.
Oh my god. Can't check your YouTube comments on your flip phone.
No, thank God. I don't need to be able to do that all the time. That's, again, that's another computer activity. I don't need to be able to do that from my pocket.
I actually immediately wanted to, like, open my phone and go to YouTube.
And you couldn't. It worked.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, it's been... the video's doing very well. It got 90,000 views in 2 days. Mm-hmm. But boy, howdy, did we scare up the misogynists. Dear God.
Kyle said the name Anita Sarkeesian.
Which apparently is like a code word for sleeper agents. Like, it just kicked everybody into gear. I didn't even say anything about her. Like, the joke was like, this innocuous, boring thing happened and then led to this bigger deal later down the road. Like, that was the joke, you know? The joke was like the escalation of the thing, and it was like a throwaway and wasn't the point of the video. But the fact that I said the name like just ignited the entire comment section.
Who is she? That's actually fine.
She's you can tell.
She created a video essay before video essays existed, and because she did it about feminism, it awoke.
In like 2013, she was.
I think it was before.
She kickstarted them, and it was like these videos that she was just a YouTuber. She kickstarted things. She made these videos on YouTube.
She kickstarted the YouTube channel. She kickstarted the content that she promised people she was going to make.
Which you only know because of what happened. Otherwise, there would just be these videos.
Right. So she got funding to make the YouTube channel because people were paid to participate in the creation of the YouTube channel and the research. She made a video essay before video essays exist on feminist tropes
in games.
In video games. And because she had a good-ass point about misogyny, the misogynists of 2013 all banded together to try to get her and all of her friends fucking killed. So
the Kickstarter, the video content was basically each one would be like, here's a trope. For example, the damsel in distress trope. And then she would go, here are the games where this appears. And then she would list them. And that's it. Those are the videos. I watched them all back in 2015 because I was curious who this demon woman was everyone was talking about.
I actually just rewatched it. It was pretty good.
And that was the entire content.
Solid video essay, like quality.
She barely even makes a moral judgment. She's just like, here's the trope, here's why it can be a problem, here's where it appears in video games. End of episode. That was it. And people lost their damn minds.
Rocket says, you mean like Kickstarter campaigns? Yeah, but over a decade ago, Kickstarter was like, it was more for just about like raising money for sort of like any little idea you had. Yeah, it was much more like it was much more like give me $1,000 so I can start a YouTube channel. Like it was much more.
Mars raising $1 million. People would just
yeah.
People would just go on. Some people would go on and raise money for their shitty film school movie, The Guards themselves, and ask for $4,000, and that's how you would get it funded.
Buzzy says, I never even watched any of her stuff directly, but I definitely had a vague negative opinion of her as a dumb teenager because of the internet.
Yeah, it stuck. The propaganda was so
heavy. It was
heavy.
Propaganda, like big time. Like
she just didn't do anything bad. It
was just another weapons of mass destruction. It was just a straight up lie that so many people said so often. There are people in the comments who are like, oh, you actually should never say anything good about Anita Sarkeesian because remember when she blah blah blah. And I'm like, that's actually just not real.
So many people were like, she's just a terrible person. And it's like, no, she's not. What are you talking about?
I literally have asked people to name one thing, and then they will make up, like, they'll name whatever. Oh, she's racist, and I'll be like, when? They cannot list a single thing because they're literally repeating rumors from like 2012 or whatever.
But what it did was stir up what people didn't realize, which is there's all these like group of incel gamer dudes on 4chan and shit that didn't like that women were playing their video games.
JD Vance is literally traced back to Gamergate.
JD Vance was one of them. So that was the joke. The joke about it making modern fascism was because the joke was it was exactly what I said.
Those people grew up and want to work for Trump.
That's what happened. The Gamergate guys are now running the government.
Their first video was like it was about the damsel in distress in video games and how often that is, and it's actually just like a fascinating. I mean, if you like what Kyle does now, you're gonna like her videos because it's the same thing, and she makes some really great points about like the repeated damsel in distress tropes in video games, and people didn't like that because here's my theory: the reason that I actually think that doing the damsel in distress one was so upsetting for this specific genre of people because I genuinely think this trope, this concept is both not quite a fetish, but is like a dream male fantasy situation. So she went for the throat first. I don't think she thought that. I think she was starting small.
To me, that feels very basic. Yeah, right.
But you're taking away the best thing about like this like living vicariously through video game concept, which is like you have a girl who loves you unconditionally, needs your help, is hot, and like can't do anything without you,
save her, owes you
and
her
you
life.
Work hard for her, and so like I think she accidentally went like straight for the throat, and I think that's actually a part of it. I think it's a huge part of it. If she had just started with something else, I think like it probably would have been bad.
Yeah.
But I think that was a really tough one for people to swallow because
that
was their favorite part.
And then from the other side of it, they always claimed that it was about ethics in video game journalism, and they also call out like other they come up with reasons that she like. I think the big thing is that she like lied on Kickstarter about like because she earned money to make videos and then only made some of them with that money because she underestimated how much work it would be. And I mean, goddamn, I guess lock me the fuck up too.
mean,
like, I don't know.
You
like,
and every other person on Kickstarter?
Yog's Quest, yeah, half of Kickstarter projects. Like, what? Like, why is like that's the thing? Her life is ruined. Like, she to this day, you can never, because you hear her name, you don't even know who she is, and you're like, oh yeah, that bad person that I've heard about once.
Actually, she works as like a DEI coordinator. She's like hireable
No way.
as like a diversity team lead for companies.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's not surprising.
Yeah. No. All those people. Rebecca Black, also super cool person now, unsurprisingly.
I don't know. Okay, obviously Rebecca Black shouldn't have been bullied into like...
Not the same level of thing, yeah.
But Rebecca Black was like I think the thing that we were all pissed off and sniffing out when Rebecca Black came in was like, plant. This girl came out of nowhere, literally sucks.
Well, you know what happened with that.
No, I have no idea.
Why that video exists?
No, why does it exist?
Oh, it was a birthday present. Her rich parents were able to pay for this service that comes out and makes a music video with your child for their birthday. And then it got published on the internet, and people found it, and it was awful, and so it blew up.
Oh, she just got memed.
Yeah, she was a kid.
She's just a girl.
She was a
She's not even trying to be in the industry.
No.
Oh my god.
She never did anything like that again, and now she like uses the weird fame she got to like support a bunch of charities and stuff. Like she's just a genuinely cool person that everyone shit on for.
Yeah, bring back bullying. Shit works. She's awesome now. Isn't she on Nebula these days, or am I thinking of Lindsay Ellis? I have no idea what Nebula is, or Lindsay Ellis.
Yeah, we're no longer hip with the trends.
Yeah, I have no idea what those things are. But yeah, that really pulled everyone out of the that got people going, the Anita Sarkeesian thing. So yeah.
Oh, right. Anyway, the video now. People. Yeah. That's there's that, and then I don't know. People are complaining. No one can complain with the podcast quotes, though. I knew that was gonna work. So many people. I'm just glad everybody else. I'm really hoping that my video starts an accidental little grassroots the same way, like starts the knowledge in people's head of how disgusting Craig and Neil are. So that it just rolls through and everyone slowly is like, oh, we all know that thing he said on the podcast. And no one has to know it came from my video, but I want the information to seep into everyone's collective subconscious. That's what they said.
One of my greatest life philosophies is that people, you never need to out someone. They will always out themselves. Mm-hmm. They will always. Now, it might be on a podcast nobody's listening to.
Right.
But any person you have that gross, icky feeling about, which I have plenty, they will at some point, like, the veil will lift. And it's really just about whether or not you're seeing it and you can perceive it to other people. And I knew season 1 of that show that I thought the whoever was writing this was, like, icky. Like, yeah. As soon as the test stuff hit, I was like, no, there's no fucking way that just happened. And I had to fight for my life against literally everybody. And it wasn't even that good of a show. It was a fine show, but like I was fighting for my life over season 1. But I knew. So I waited.
I wanted it to be good so bad.
So I waited. And look where we are. Sometimes you just gotta wait, and then people will do the work for you, and they always do. Always. That's why the video, I spent way too long in this video, but I wanted to make sure the point was made as well as possible. Yeah.
And also digging through those podcasts was a nightmare.
Yeah, they were so gross.
There was a lot. I found way more than I thought I was going to.
Look, if the woman just let the zombie give her their love, he would not actually attack her, and that is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was genuinely, it was really awful and disturbing. But like you can, so actually, if you go back and you watch that scene, which you can't because it's awful and disturbing and gross, and your brain immediately wants to pull away.
I was editing it in there, and I was like, I have to censor some of this. Like in my mind, I was like, maybe I can just leave the whole clip in there so it really like hits. I couldn't watch it while I was editing the video.
Yeah. But if you actually go back and you watch that scene, it's everything they said in the podcast, just visualized.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't need them to repeat it.
Right.
I knew every vibe. let's shoot it romantically because it's like a love romantic.
That's when
like,
I knew
yep,
I
I picked
had-
it up. I promise you, I fucking could tell the very first time you did it. Thank you for telling everyone though, because I really needed you to do that.
Yeah.
Because no one ever believes me.
Right.
So please go on a podcast and publicly explain exactly the kind of freak you are for me. And thank you, universe, once again for delivering as a due.
That's when I knew we had the video too. Is that one morning while I was like first concepting the video, I got up and I found that Craig quote, which you found originally. I posted on Reddit or somewhere. Like
Years
there was
ago.
there was a snip of like that.
The
thing.
podcast had been out since the first season.
Right. And then I went and Googled that quote and tracked down to the transcript and started reading through the rest and was like, hold the fuck on, and then went and like found it in Spotify and played it and sent it to you where they say everything. And we were like, okay, this is the fulcrum of the video right here, is the fact that like this interpretation is not just made up in our brains. They fully intended every single detail of it, and they made sure what I didn't have to censor some of what Craig said. I censored the clip because I couldn't like the actual from the scene from the show. I had to censor that. I didn't include everything Craig said because there wasn't enough time in the video.
I think the most important thing you say in that video, like in regards to the advice that you give, because it wasn't really about writing though, but I think one of the most important things you say is when this kind of thing happens, when you're trying to make sense of like a really gross bad writer and good quality content that comes out for some reason, keep looking for what the answer actually is.
Don't just chalk it up to a mystery.
It's not a mystery, and it's not dissonance. It's not that your favorite show in the world is written by the grossest, dumbest, creepiest man in the entire world. It's something else. And you know what that something else is? Someone else. Every fucking time, it's someone else. 95% of the time, it's probably a woman, a wife, a girlfriend, a creative team of women, but it's not the guy that you fucking hate writing the good quality shit. So, like, that's what I want people to take away, is, like, when you love something, a freak did not write it. Like, a gross-ass man did not write that shit.
My
it's
assumption...
not, like, a broken clock twice a day, probably not. Not even. I'm telling you, enough other people had to be involved for whatever quality you got out of something that you really loved. And then you can tell when those people get hired on again. Like, Season 2 of Arcane. You can tell when they call up their Neil and their Craig, and they're like, hey... We got approved for Season 2, now we need a big name, we need some big people who know what they're doing, and then they call up those losers, and that's when your show drops.
Yeah.
So the person who wrote the first season is probably not responsible for the shit the next season. Someone comes in and adjusts the things that are good, or turns something bad. It's not a mystery. The systems work this way very much on purpose. Like, so that's what I want people to take away, because I'm sick and tired of having to, like, argue for the fact that, like, no, like, it doesn't work the way it's presented this way, but there's so many moving parts. It's like it feels like in any skill that's like complicated, like if you pick up like a tinkering skill and you think you know how blank works, but then you actually figure out all the ins and outs, but you're trying to explain to someone that the system is much more complicated than it looks. Movie writing, Hollywood, that whole thing is way more complicated, and there's way more hands in that pie than you think there are. Like, way more. And then it depends on the set too, because like something like the Last of Us video game that you pointed out in the in your video, which is that the character, like the girl that who does Ellie again?
Ashley Johnson
literally had to say, I think I would fight back.
Right.
Meaning Ellie didn't hit anything in the original.
Until Ashley Johnson requested her to be. Like, the game.
And she's not a writer. She's not credited as a writer.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
And she changed the character.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So it's stuff like that where like, it's not. It's. I've said too much. I'm getting tired of my voice.
It's I to give the most empathetic take I can to people who like do kind of the devil's advocate argument of like, well, maybe that's not what they meant or whatever. I think it's because people tend to assume that they might be wrong. Like, if they're faced with like, I don't like the way the show is written, but the guy who wrote it wrote Chernobyl, and that's acclaimed, so maybe I think the assumption is like, well, maybe I'm wrong, because that's what I've always done. I've always had this like, I must be confused was like the default that I would go to.
Yeah.
And I assume other people do the same thing, and that's why they let people get away with that kind of stuff because you look at the inconsistency and you're like, well, it must be me, rather than thinking, what if they're lying, or like what if there's information that's just not being included, and what I'm seeing is actually completely correct, and that's kind of why I made the video. I wanted to encourage that change of mindset in people, I think.
That's so funny. This is not my default. You guys are all talking about how...
No, not yours at all. Allison is thinking Virgos right now or something. Damn, you're getting to know her so well.
I was just thinking about how, like, I actually think this is... Did you see the orbs?
Were there more orbs?
It was right over here. I was thinking about how my mom just did not raise me that way, so, like, as soon as something's fucky, I'm like, whose fault is this? It's not mine. And then it takes me like a whole 24 hours to be like, was that my fault? Like, I think it. I get there.
That's true.
Because I don't like myself enough to never consider it. But I definitely go through the who... I linger on the question, who did this? And then sometimes it is me. Yeah. But it takes me longer, unlike you and Mafek.
I'm very much the opposite. I go, oh, I must have been wrong. And then like 2 days later, I'll be like, what if I was right? Could I have been right? Is that possible? Is there a world in which this makes sense?
Mine's definitely the opposite. Mine is definitely like, somebody fucked this up. And then occasionally I'm like, oh, it was me. I fucked this up. My bad. Because I went through everybody else who could have done it, and it's like, oh, no, it wasn't. It wasn't the other people.
That sounds... I envy you. I'm getting there. I'm figuring out how to strike a balance here.
But I'm wrong until someone goes... Wait, what if you weren't wrong? That's why you need to be friends with me.
Yeah.
Anytime you come to me and you're like, I'm having this problem, I'm like, it is not your fault. It's not your fault. It's not you. You didn't do it. Because actually, I don't know if it's just people I surround myself with, but everyone in my life needs to hear that.
Yeah.
Every single person I've ever talked to, maybe I just don't talk to people who are like me, and that's why. But like people I talk to, I'm like, it's not your fault. Probably. It's probably not your fault. You jumped too quickly to it being your fault, so let's take a minute. And then they'll be like, they'll explain the situation. I'm like, oh, yeah, no, that person sucks.
Right.
Whatever's going on, if you sucked, you wouldn't be hanging out with me. You know what I mean? I have a great...
That's a good way to think about it.
Suck radar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the best way to say that. For sure.
Yeah, have you guys been seeing the ghost orbs? I saw another one over...
Yeah, what is actually going on? Do we just have...
Here.
Dirty air?
Ghost. It's ghost.
New word for ghosts, dirty air.
I know, you've done that to me like 6 times already.
Welcome, Oliver. Also welcome to everybody else who showed up.
Maybe it's because, accidentally, everybody take a break, take a breath, chill as I drop this on you. Maybe it's because people who tend to blame themselves for things first are attracted to people who blame other people first. Yeah. Because it sort of validates the feelings.
I know that's the case.
So maybe you're kind of around some shitty people sometimes because they're willing to let you feel like it was your fault. Maybe not. Maybe some, maybe no. Just consider.
Yeah. Yep.
I think 2 Allisons would either destroy each other or team up and become one functional unit that could take over the world if their legs didn't hurt.
That wouldn't happen.
You don't think so?
No.
No, me neither.
No, two U's would never team up.
Yeah, I don't.
You would immediately fight to the death every single time. There is no other.
I really don't think I could handle me at all. I want to. I want to like me if me was presented to me, but I think I...
Maybe once you're mentally healthy enough, that would go differently, but I think as you are, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that would be the outcome.
This actually does not impact my self-confidence at all.
Two me's would just go, ugh, and then leave.
They would actually probably not. They would go, ugh, and then not leave.
Wait for the other one to leave first. That would never happen.
I've seen this happen.
Have you?
I feel like it.
Me and who else? What other me have I run into? I know they're out there.
No, not you. I just mean, like, I feel like I've seen you and another person who didn't want to be there have to decide who's going to leave. You and your parents.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah. Also Virgos, by the way. Yeah. But that's unrelated, probably.
Yeah.
This actually does not affect my self-confidence at all that I wouldn't like me.
No?
No.
Interesting.
Because I'm
Why?
making that decision. I don't know, because
So you feel like, I don't like you and I respect that you don't like me back.
that's how I feel about everyone I don't like who doesn't like me back. I know
You at least
exactly
both make it
why
very
you
obvious
don't
that you-
like. Now, here's what. It's only when people are wrong. If someone's like, I don't like Allison because she's too quiet. Like, that's when I get mad. Like, you don't have to be
Fuck, I
dumb.
love me. Yeah, that's...
You can. There's so many reasons. I've talked about this. You can dislike me for reasons that are incredibly valid. I've spoken all of them into existence. So,
Your
like,
least favorite thing is people dislike you and aren't clear about it.
no, that's just are wrong.
Oh, well, sure.
I don't like Allison because she's shy or like aloof or something, which is like
right, yeah.
painful. Aloof is my least favorite thing in the
aloof a
entire
lot.
world. Or like I've gotten like doesn't care or is like disconnected.
Sorry.
And I really don't get that one. I really don't get it. But
Yeah,
I have gotten it a
I don't
lot.
really understand
Like
why you get that either.
I get a lot of like she doesn't care, not care, but that aloof, it circles the aloof thing.
Yeah.
Like that I'm not invested in other people's lives when I literally
insane.
go online to go talk about other people's lives because I'm obsessed with what they're doing.
You're the most invested. You almost don't have an identity aside from,
I
hey, it's
think-
Kate!
Yay! I think I must
Yay.
make a weird face. Like when people are talking, I'm so invested. Anytime anyone is telling me about maybe what it is I like jump on the advice train too soon. Like someone's yapping and I'm like, oh, what if you just shot him? Or like, what if you just stopped talking to them? Or like, and they're like, oh, she doesn't care. But I'm just like throwing things out to see if they stick. I'm still listening. But I worry that's the case, that
maybe.
people are like, they're like, oh, she
can see
doesn't care,
that.
she's not listening. And it's like, no, I promise. That's what I worry about. But yeah, if you're like, oh,
Kate,
she's...
look, we got new phones.
Okay.
We got new old phones.
Just rewinding this.
Yeah, I just want to show
the
Kate
stream.
my cool Japan phone.
She's gonna be here in a week.
Mine's from Japan. Well, now you know what to expect.
Mine's from a
She
big
got a Barbie
corporation. Giant corporation. It's Barbie phone. This is the back. This is the front.
Amazing.
Okay. Anyway, it's a mirror. And this is the candy chain.
Nice.
Thank you.
Excellent choice on the candy.
Oliver says if there were two Kyles, I think they would get angry at each other for not sleeping and then both continue to not sleep.
Actually, I have tons of videos about this exact subject, so I don't know why we're
Oh
speculating
yeah.
on it.
Go back and watch Door Launcher sketches. There's so many Kyles and they all hate each other.
Yeah, that is the premise of the upcoming series.
Cass says, I'm hot as fuck, I'd love me. Love that for you, and yes.
That's a Leo thing. My turn.
Stop it, it can't always be a Virgo thing. It's not always a Virgo thing, it's just a Virgo thing when it's a Virgo thing.
Yeah.
You know what? Come see us, and I'll put all the Virgos I know in a room, and we'll see what happens. I know exactly the three options.
Ooh, that's what we should do for, like, you know, like there was like that like Kyle gathering where all the Kyles gathered in one place. I want to see like just gatherings of each star sign in a room and just observe them.
Do you think all the Leos would start kissing each other? Cass?
Well, it's not about each other, it's about themselves. They want the attention. I feel like it wouldn't work, right? If everybody in the room wants the attention on them.
Okay, so
Then
they'd
what
leave the
happens?
room, they'd go to a room full of a bunch of Virgos, and then let all the Virgos start kissing
I'm listening.
them.
I can get attention from kissing.
That was my thought,
Just
but
be
okay.
yeah.
Anyway, no Zodiacs. We're not popular for the Zodiacs. They don't like this about
No,
us.
they don't like this topic.
They don't like this about us.
I won't leave that room. It would be rude. See, this is why we would all just sit and wait for the other person.
Allison very quick to jump to murder. Only.
I love that was your first thought of advice that you give to your friends. Because I do think you've given that advice to every one of your friends at least once.
If you had heard them talk about the people they're talking about, you would have given that advice too.
If you're friends with Allison, at some point you've heard her say, "Why don't you just kill him?"
Okay, well,
It's great.
when I've told
This
you
isn't
that
a compl-
advice,
this is not a complaint.
when I've given you that advice, do you think that I was out of line?
No, and I probably should have killed him. I won't say who it was. What else has happened? Allison lost her job
Did lose my
in
job,
a stupid way.
and then
Well, so the way she lost her job actually is that both of her bosses quit after the last time we had this
that's true.
this stream.
the marketing director who was then promoted to manager quit.
Rare and medium rare bosses quit.
Yes, rare and medium rare bosses quit. And then the other boss quit, but she was basically like, I will stay until you're back from your vacation. For my big boss. Big boss.
Yeah.
And
big
then
alone
I
now.
get a notification. So one, I get a notification from my coworker. I don't know, have I ever said her name? I feel like I have, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I get a text from one of the
character from
coworkers
The
that I
Office.
really liked, the one that was like isolated and away from me.
The one that carried the company on her shoulders that we've mentioned a few times.
Yeah, I get a text from her like the next day, and she's like, "I'm so fucking jealous you got fired, because like I can't stand it here anymore." And then I get literally the next day, she's like, "I quit." And I was like, "That's incredible, like good on you." And she was like, "I'm gonna put in my 2 weeks though." And I was like, "You, for the record, do not have to do that. I know it feels like a law. It's never been a law, and it will affect absolutely nothing moving forward
to do the 2 weeks thing.
if you don't do 2 weeks."
Yeah.
Because she was worried about. She's literally
she was-
worried about retaliation.
Wait, really? That's what she was worried about? It
She
wasn't
spent
like
her
a consideration?
I've been doing these streams talking about how everyone has retaliated to her the entire time I worked there. So yeah, she
Well,
was so worried.
But she's leaving.
That's still 2 weeks of fucking hell.
That's why don't do it. That's why leave. That's don't stay there for 2 weeks.
She can't not do that. So anyway, so she's also gone. So I'm assuming that the boss what was it, medium and medium rare?
Yeah.
Which one's which? In order.
Rare boss has to be the newest one, right? Like
Yeah, okay.
the
So medium rare.
marketing director.
So medium rare boss, probably actually rescinded her quitting with that happening, because people
Oh, you
would have
think
been
so? Think she didn't
probably
actually end up
temporarily.
leaving? Okay.
Yeah, if I had to guess, but I can check in again. Anyway, so
Allison
that's
does not have a
that.
new job currently.
I don't.
So, patreon.com/dormmonster.
I mean, I'm working.
We're doing okay.
I'm working towards getting a new job. I'm working with someone else talking about the new job is like contractual work where I like build my own schedule and stuff, and it's part of the same like pyramid scheme stuff. It's just a functioning pyramid scheme. So it's like I have the ability to jump into work when I'm ready, kind of, but it will still take months to start making money because it's a client building job.
Yeah.
So you need the clients because it's an MLM.
There'll be other options too. Like there
Because it's real.
like, we'll
Because all
find
real estate is
something.
actually
She'll
just
find
pyramid
something.
scheme. Just for the record, all real estate is pyramid scheme. I've learned since being in real estate that it's shaped like a triangle.
Yeah.
Actually, most jobs are.
Well, now you mentioned what the job was finally, but let's not go further than that
I
in
feel like
detail.
I've mentioned it before.
We beat around it enough that people could have figured it out. Okay.
I'm not there anymore.
Yeah, I know, but I still don't want them knowing where it was. You know.
Guys, don't find out. Don't do it. All 19 of you.
Just for doxing purposes, it'll just be easier to
See,
not
I
have
feel
that
like if
information
you
around.
didn't make it a thing, it would have glanced by everybody's fucking head.
You might be right.
I am right. I know I'm right.
You were definitely right.
Anyway.
You're always right. Why would you choose to work for an MLM? Because if you're high enough in the pyramid, you make money. As long as you know that's what it is you're doing.
Yeah. I mean,
Also, the way that the thing that she's possibly going to be doing is more like a service made for the people in the MLM. It's real estate, so it's agents. It's like you'd be helping with, like, do shit for agents.
I mean, the truth is that almost every company, not every company, but most companies are a pyramid shape, right? Like that is the big amount of workers at the bottom and then the guy at the top, right? And then it's a pyramid. I think the biggest difference between like a regular job and an MLM is basically how the people above you make money. And if the people above you only make money because the people below you make money, and that's the only way you get yours, so like not salaried, right? Like someone else has to make money and then you get a portion of that money and then someone gets a portion of your money. That is what I'm in.
Right, no
that is how it
guaranteed
works.
pay, probably.
I have clients and I do work, then they make money, then I get money from the work they're doing. So that's why it's more like MLM-y.
The line between MLMs and just regular capitalism is very thin. So I'm not sure it's a huge.
It's a massive
huge
real estate
difference.
company. Think of 3 real estate companies. It's one of those. Like there's.
Right.
When I say MLM, I don't mean like.
It's considered a legit job by most places. It's just feels skeezy because it's capitalism. I don't know. It's real estate. Like, the whole thing's a scam. Why do real estate agents exist? They don't need to. They just decided to
Oliver
make
says,
themselves...
okay, I have like 3 or 4 questions about the ethics of this, but I'm going to accept I probably just don't understand the specifics of this particular situation. I think you should ask your questions. I'm happy to answer them. Like, absolutely 100% happy to answer. Most people work within an unethical system. Is kind of the problem.
Hard to not be involved in the chain somewhere. Whatever. My job, I guess, is technically ethical because people are choosing to give me the money, but I'm also a street performer, basically. So it still doesn't feel like
that's true.
It doesn't feel good.
I will say my position in the MLM makes me feel better than like people who sell Chinese dropship on Etsy.
Well, because again, you're more adjacent to it than you are actually in it. You're just doing some of the work of some of the other, like you're contracting. They're outsourcing some busy work to you.
Yeah.
That's what the job would be. So.
Really unpopular take right now. I'm specifically at this point in my life getting kind of fed up with every single actionable thing being placed in the morality spectrum at the moment. And I know that sounds really bad, but like I feel like even navigating my own circles, which I would consider very widely accepting, really only online even actually, I feel like you cannot move a single direction in anything without somebody being able to bring up like a moral complaint about whatever that thing is.
So this is what The Good Place is about, actually.
This is what The Good Place is about.
Yeah, no one's able to make it to heaven because everything you do ends up being bad.
I feel like I know why too, because it kind of feels like what it was like 2 sides of the spectrum. There was like the left and the right, even like morally, even not even just like politically necessarily, but like conservative, progressive morality kind of thing versus like one side is like eating meat's bad for like the ethics of for every reason that eating meat is bad, and then another side that's kind of like in practice I just can't give a shit. Do you know what I mean? Like that's sort of the spectrum. Is like I hear it and I just find other things more valuable than that thing. But I feel like those 2 things have been split into like 6 each, or like maybe 4. So now I feel like we're navigating where like you got your side and then you've got your enemies on your side of the morality spectrum. So everyone is like
even within your side of it, it's like well now there's a sub conflict.
Now there's like, oh, you're one of these, like you're in your side, and then on that side someone else has to be like, oh, you're on that side of this side. Well, on this side of this side, we don't do that side shit because that's morally apprehensible. And I feel like
I agree. I know.
I feel like everything feels that way, and any new thing is like met with that, and it's honestly gonna burn me the fuck out. I'm gonna just like one day I'm gonna wake up dementia ridden and apathy and people are going to ask me
this is why
something.
You get rid of your phone, because then you stop hearing about those conflicts, and then you don't even have to think about
them. That's true. In real life, everybody just talks to you like normal. Like, and you say something, and like...
This doesn't actually happen if you're not on the internet all the time hearing people say this stuff.
Anyway. I'm happy and willing to hear criticisms.
Because you know when I do find out, once I do perfectly understand a conflict, you know what I do?
What?
Nothing.
Wait, what?
When I actually fully understand a conflict, I don't do anything different at all because I can't. So what does it matter? For the most part, there's usually very little I can do to affect whatever it is that's going on, and somehow doing so would.
Oliver makes a great point. Oliver makes a perfect
so.
point. I don't go to Starbucks because they're a serial union buster, but I do consume other fully unethical ways. Sure, but that's a battle I can choose.
Right.
Big agree. The big question is the kind of apprehension you hold against people who continue to go to Starbucks. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Because at that point, you are not allowed to know anybody. Because they're if the ethics are like cruelty towards people or animals, you are not allowed to do absolutely anything. Right. And this is why millennials made the phrase "there's no ethical consumption under capitalism."
Oliver said that earlier, even.
And then Gen Z didn't like it. I get why Gen Z didn't like it because they were willing. Yeah, because they were willing to talk about the nitty gritty of what that really meant, like the practical application, which is that it could lead people to stop thinking about the way they're choosing to live their life in an ethical way. But the problem is, like, that work was done. Like, millennials did not live a life devoid of constant morality checking. We just did it in a really embarrassing, messy way over like MySpace and that kind of stuff. But
once you check, you did. Once you check, you check.
That's what.
Once you check, you done.
I'm willing to let Gen Z do it. Go through all of it again, and you're gonna come to the same conclusion that navigating outside of the box of like navigating within the box of morality in America is nearly
you go
impossible.
Live in a tree somewhere, you're kind of fucked. There's not much you can like.
You do have to pick your battles, and some battles I think are bigger battles to pick.
You and I have even been like slowly weaning ourselves off of things that I think would like.
For the Starbucks examples, example, it makes one thing to be like, I don't go to Starbucks and I don't like people who go to Starbucks, but some people work at Starbucks. That's like that's all they can do.
Yeah.
They live in a town full of 7,000 people,
right?
And
that's
the Starbucks is hiring, and that's where they're at, and they're contributing to the money in Starbucks, and you know what I mean? Like it's They are stuck within the system. But Kate says, same. What reality are we even in anymore? That was rude of you to say, and ethically unsound. It's that kind of thing. Anyway.
I'm an active cog in the fast food industry, in spite of how sad the many documentaries of unethical meat industry practices make me.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because what are you gonna... That's your job. Like, I don't know.
I think a
like,
person
what are you
is...
Gonna go
Oliver says, I think a person is worthy of being judged if they willfully disconnect and make no attempt to live ethically in any way. I agree.
Sure. But I
mostly agree.
But how often does that really happen?
Like how many people ain't talking to their grandma anymore? Do you know what I mean? Are we all really not supposed to talk to our grandma because racism? Is your grandma racist?
Probably. Whose grandma isn't racist? Oh, well, the black ones probably. My grandparents are racist.
My
Make no
grandparents
mistake.
are racist. Well, I don't know why that feels like a good shirt. This guy's grandparents are racist. You're probably wondering how I got here.
Most of them are
right
dead
now.
too, so it's not, I don't talk
it's
to them
the racism,
anymore.
it gets you.
Yeah. You got them in the end.
I don't actually know if my grandparents are racist. I feel like they could say something extremely questionable, but they haven't yet that I know of.
Yeah.
They have plenty of other problems.
Your grandparents feel like they maybe have some more worldly experience to have.
Oh well, my
kept shitty opinions.
My
at bay.
extremely Israeli Jewish grandfather might be racist in a way I didn't know until very recently.
Assuming he's cognizant enough to even be paying any attention.
I swear, when they get less cognizant, they get more racist. Like they don't
Imagine
they don't
that.
get dementia, and then they're like, why did I ever feel racist? I swear it gets worse.
We should look into this.
When dementia happens, the racism part of the brain gets larger, and everything else shrinks. I think that's actually not like literally true, but anyway.
Yeah, it's almost like the conscious parts fall away, and then what's left is just animal brains.
Who's got two thumbs and has racist grandparents? My grandma is not racist, a chain-smoking drunk, but not a racist. I love that for you. And I like that as a shirt as well. That's kind of where I feel like my grandparents are sort of, not the Israeli one, but the other one. Definitely
your other ones.
She's Italian, and I feel like Italians are racist, but I can't remember which way. Like, I can't remember which one they're mad at.
Are
Do you
they
know
Europeans? Because that doesn't feel like it matters.
I feel like Italians have racism, I just don't know.
Yeah, but it's against, like, the Irish, right? Like, I don't know. Like, it's like
maybe?
The other mob families?
Maybe. Yeah, my preferred method of acquiring income is not something I'm 100% okay with ethically. I'm fine with teaching, but there are flaws there, too, in the U.S. that I'm just, I just can't,
I'm a YouTuber.
You know what? I think
sake.
it begs a really interesting question, which is what's really valuable in determining your close relationships with people, and I think I'm trying really hard not to say this as bad as it is because I don't mean it the way that it is.
Okay.
But the way that I'm going to say it poorly is that I think it's a valid thing to choose people in your life that simply make you feel good, that you enjoy being around, but not to say that their actions outside of that don't matter, but because some actions are inexcusable, some feelings are inexcusable. Like a rapist You shouldn't be friends with rapists. Do you know what I mean? Like, well, but
Well, most likely they're. I don't know. Yeah.
Would they be a rapist if they knew? If you couldn't you? Okay. I've talked.
Have to do a corner.
No, but I'm gonna bring up something I've brought up before.
Okay.
Which is like the nuance of having been
there.
in the.
Hold on.
Actually, bring your pitchforks out now, just in case. Just in case.
She always gets it. She gets the point across.
I was gonna say, so
She's
like
smarter than all of you.
having been in the dating scene in my early 20s, in the mid 2000s, mid 2000s, early 2000s, 12.
I wasn't paying enough attention. Dating,
Whatever.
Yeah, early 2010s is what you're looking for.
That one. Having been in the dating cycle, a lot of like what I thought were hard lines were very soft lines.
Oh, we're going this way.
But I think it matters.
No, it does. This will be an interesting conversation.
So when I say things like, don't be friends with a rapist, I mean don't be friends with someone who has identified the problem and then has, like, perpetuated the idea that they don't see issues with it.
Craig Mazin, for
Backing
instance.
Backing up. Because when I was in the dating scene, all of the lines that I thought were hard lines, because right after I was done with the dating scene, I joined the Rape Crisis Center. Where at the Crisis Center, they're like, these are the hard lines. And I'm like, uh-oh. Almost everyone I know on both sides of the spectrum has crossed these lines. Very genuinely. Everyone I know has crossed this line at some point
and
or
you're
another.
talking about specifically, just to try and clarify,
Assault.
because all of the... That's what I was going to say.
Oh.
We're talking to a bunch of people we know over a Discord server who maybe have not lived the lifestyle you're talking about, which is like the sitcom style going out and partying every night sort of thing, where you like get drunk and hook up with people and like.
No, I mean servers. I mean the servers that you're.
I mean that too. I
Okay,
don't think
I
these
mean,
people have. I don't think they know the perspective you're coming at it from, which is why I want to make sure that.
I mean,
that's
the
clarified.
obvious example is like don't have sex with drunk people, but then two drunk people go home. Two very drunk people go home together with each other.
Constantly. Like, that is the entire lifestyle. Like,
yeah,
every
because you
single
wouldn't
person...
have done it sober.
Yeah.
And the question is obvious. But the answer for a lot of people is like, yes, wouldn't have done it sober, but did do it drunk, fine, whatever, move on. Because that's the point of getting drunk, is like doing things you wouldn't do sober. So it's like really the line, like, this is what taught me that like the things that you're really worried about in people is like how like hard they're willing to die on a hill of wrongness, even because you can point out, you can be like, hey, you can't do that anymore, or this is the line, and by this definition you've done this thing, and then they just never do it again because they didn't know. Like when I went to the crisis center, I didn't know half the shit that I assumed I knew, and then I was like, oh, these are the lines, and then I would point out to somebody and I'd be like, these are the lines, and when I shit you not that I would have to cut off so many people that I had been friends with and know are good people because they didn't understand these lines either. And this is why I like genuinely advocate for the idea of like full understanding of every single hard boundary within this spectrum of assault, because people have no idea how easy it is to be on it, or how like I don't know, like, and this
is a hard thing to describe. No one's talking.
That's fine. But I will say that like I think this matters a lot because the other problem I have with this is that for some reason people are horrified at like big R word and being accused of big R word or saying big R word, but let me tell you that it has like this massive spectrum of qualifications that are very easy to accidentally be big R word, and I don't think people realize.
Well,
like
we've talked before about how that being treated as like this unthinkable thing that no one could ever possibly do actually makes it more of a problem that keeps happening, because when you're talking to like a Christian person who's like, well, I would never, and no one I know ever would, and it's like, well, okay, but most of your friends probably actually have, because that's where because most women have had this experience. So who's doing it? If nobody knows them, where are they? Like, where is it happening? And you've talked to me about experiences you've had where you've looked back on it later, where you've had experiences with people and then found out, like, you know, some of those lines may have been crossed by them, but you were like, well, chose to be like I was there, like that, in like a blaming yourself kind of way.
I'm gonna set it up as in a story. I was assaulted by somebody, and I go to tell somebody else, and they have a difficult time believing me because big R word is too unbelievable to assign to that person.
Right. That guy would never. Like,
that guy would never. And that guy would never
him.
Is perpetuated by the idea that it is a crime of unthinkable evil only associated with the depths of hell and demons themselves.
That couldn't be done by accident or mildly or...
And while it's within, like, those are the correct descriptors, when that kind of language is used, it is a struggle to talk to people about those things happening, because in their mind, because it's been established as such a thing, they don't and can't want to make your reality real. So genuinely. Like, this is a problem that has happened over and over and over again, and this was even talked about at the Rape Crisis Center, which is the casualty of it existing, because literally... you try to tell somebody that something happened, and it couldn't have happened because it's too big of a crime. And so when we fear the word and then like hide away from it and turn it into this big giant thing that's only done by Brock Turners of the world, you literally like
evil villains that could
and then people don't think they're doing it also,
because
it hasn't been perpetuated in like its casual like understanding of how it exists, and so people don't think they're doing it because drunk making out at 2 a.m. because you went to a bar and this guy's ugly and you know he's ugly if you're sober but you're drunk enough to not care is like you stop, like people can't associate it with that thing because again that's evil demon shit and you're just having a good time at a nightclub, and so now a bunch of people can't even identify that the thing they're doing is the thing that they're doing because it's so far away from demon behavior. Do you know what I mean? Like,
we talked about this a lot.
I have talked about this a lot.
But no, and that's fine. But we have talked about this with them 0%.
So
I want to make sure that it's like very clear what it is you're saying and everything, because I know people will read into the conversation more than they necessarily should.
That guy would never lost me most of my high school friend group for years.
Damn. Yeah. I
don't know anybody who doesn't have that story. Honestly, like even with little things, even like the. Anyway, I feel like I've gone the full circle that it exists in, from the people who are on it do it more often than you think, but they also do it because they don't understand the full definition, and also because the definition has been so far removed from things people think they're capable of completing, to also, like, you'd have to cut off so many people for the things that they've done if this big R word is, like, the qualifier, because it's like that, it's a whole circle, it goes around and around and around, it makes everything super difficult, because I don't know, because hard lines make things honestly harder to navigate, because like there's a zero tolerance would just remove so many people from your life that you probably have no idea about, and you might think like, well, why would I want them? But then in their mind they didn't even know, because they didn't go to the Rape Crisis Center to learn the spectrum.
Well, I guess it's
and
like
then
you
the
don't
spectrum
even know
is larger.
Who might be eliminated from your
any non-consensual sexual thing is anything that is not like 100% advocated and consented verbally out loud can qualify. Like 100%.
Right.
Like that's enough to call the crisis center because we were trained.
Which happens a lot. Like it's, I mean,
I don't even verbally consent out loud all the time because I'm busy.
Like you have way more dating experience than I do, and you've helped. Like you helped me understand it way back when too. Like you've really clarified it for me without me having to go through the same experience by just explaining it from your, like, what happened, you know, from your angle as like, you know, the girl that a lot of these guys, not that it can't go the other way, but like from the perspective of the girl who was going out and having and like dating people and like hooking up with people and stuff, and what it was like for you, and even you have been like, you know, this is just blurrier than it is made out to be, because like, because like I knew, but I actually kept, like, I was still there.
This bothers me so much. I had a conversation with someone years ago about Kanye. I don't know if I've even told you guys this story, so you might know who, but I had a conversation with someone about Kanye before Kanye did all the Kanye shit, and I was like, Kanye's probably a rapist. And they were like,
another one of those.
They were like, whoa, you cannot accuse...
Oh, yeah.
They were like, you cannot accuse somebody of the worst thing in the world, because that could ruin their life. And I was like, one, cannot touch this guy. 2,
yeah.
this isn't like a big. So in their mind, I was jumping to the biggest worst thing that anyone could ever do. Kanye could not. You cannot theorize that Kanye could be a rapist because
I don't even know how to compare it to something because that is in most people's minds. Like some people place that above murder, even. Like,
exactly.
But it is similar to being like, I think Kanye is probably a murderer. You know.
Which like your friends would probably be like, maybe, but probably not. That'd be a lot of work. But you say, like, Kanye might be a rapist, and suddenly it's like, right. You cannot just say that word. You cannot just talk about somebody doing that without hard proof. And I was like...
You might ruin Kanye's life by saying that out loud in this living room.
So, one, I kind of don't think it should ruin someone's life to say that. I think it should have about the same impact as...
Well, right.
Allison could murder someone. Pause. Don't be telling people I could rape somebody, but...
It should be closer to saying, like, I think Allison, like, I don't know, committed tax fraud or something. Like, it should just...
Don't be telling people any of
this.
this.
Smaller.
Just
like,
say.
Just say. Look, again, how many women have experienced... Like,
don't tell people these things about
What is the percentage
you could ruin my life.
Of women that have experience with sexual assault? It's like... At least half. I don't remember how much, right? Like
no. The reason I said it is because all the blocks are in place. Like, is rich, is famous, has control, I know. So what I was talking about, I was
veering off to a different point. Sorry.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm finishing my point, which is like obviously Kanye could be a rapist because all the things are aligned for it to be extremely easy for him to be a rapist. Like that was the point I was trying to make. But then
like, are we really gonna like? I mean, I'm sorry. It's much less likely that he never has done anything than that he, you know, like than that he's done at least one thing.
Kate says YouTube has not helped with the phenomenon of saying scary words.
That's true.
I agree.
The whole so dumb. Having to censor yourself. The point I was making is that, like, again, like, most women have been sexually assaulted. That, like, it's not like 3 guys doing it, you know? Like it happens more often than people want to admit. That's Oliver's comment. What do you say? You explain it in a 5-paragraph essay about you committed tax fraud, murder, and rape house. And we're barely even saying it here because I guess because we're worried YouTube's gonna delete our video midstream or something. I don't know.
I haven't been worried about that. Should I be worried about that?
I mean, you've been saying like the big R thing, which is like.
No, I said rape multiple times.
You did, yeah. Yeah, normalize the word rape. Like, just better.
I like
Make
R
it
added.
less spicy. I even bleeped it in mine, but again, that's because of the YouTube thing. Like, I don't want it to be demonetized.
But some people's like first socialization.
Can you say that into my lapel, please?
Some people's first socialization of concepts is literally on YouTube. Like we're talking about a different generation. Like, they got on YouTube before they got into like 5th grade. So like,
I grew up in like
all the words were bleeped.
Christianity also is very much
that's
like
true.
Don't like this is.
That's true.
I mean, yeah.
This is all back to that stupid morality thing that I was talking about, which is like it feels like it's really hard to navigate and stuff. And like, I don't know. Do you ever meet somebody late in life and you hear some things about their life and you're like, I could see you maybe have done some shit that I wouldn't approve of, but like they're not doing it now. You just sort of look at them and you're like, I'm guessing that drug-fueled, alcoholic, raging 5 years of your life maybe had some shit in there, and it's like, we don't have to talk about it, but like you.
I saw that one.
But like you know that if you knew, you maybe'd have to put like a hard line. Like it's time to be like, I don't really know.
Well,
if, like...
yes, I do know what you mean. I've known now that I'm getting older. There's like 2 kinds of people. There's ones where it's like that, where it's like, okay, based on what I do know about you, I can assume other things about you that I may or may not need to learn. You know, like there's that. Or there's people like Allison and Kate and all of my favorite people in the world who come up and they're like, I've done all of these things the first time you meet them. And I love those people more than anybody else. Like, my favorite kind of person are the people who are like, I used to suck so much. And I'm like, cool. I'm glad that you knew that and that you still know that. And I only trust people who say they used to suck.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. Like, people who are like, I sucked before and I've thought about these things and these are the things that are bad about me. I love it. Like, I don't trust anybody who's like, anybody who's like, I don't feel like I've really changed all that much since high school. I'm like, okay, you've done terrible things. You have no ability to self-analyze. You have not noticed your faults. Like,
yeah, but like, what I will say is that with that knowledge, I'll like bring up, because I do that. I'll be like, oh yeah, I remember my partying phase, and someone will be like, I remember my partying phase, and I'm immediately like, what are we talking about? Like, what do you mean when you say partying phase? Because I know what partying phase means. I had one. So the question is, like, where are you at about that?
Are you going to be honest about it?
Where are you at about your partying phase? Like, that, it's that kind of energy.
Right.
Like, whatever trauma you had that you know you kind of did wrong in, and then someone says something similar, and you're like, like, where? Have you grown like I grown? Or no? Because... You know what I mean? Like, you can, like, sniff it out, like, I don't know, when you meet another YouTuber and they address themselves as, like, oh, yeah, I'm a YouTuber, and you're suddenly like...
Right.
What does that mean
I
for
know the
you?
pitfalls that I've been through and avoided, so now I need to know... Now I know all the possibly bad things you are. Am I going to have to ask, or are you just going to tell me?
What if I say I used to be amazing, but I suck now?
I also sympathize with that. It's
you
just
kind
a
of remind
experience.
me of Matt, and I do like Matt.
Yeah.
Buzzzy says, I definitely sucked before. Yeah, what about people who got worse? Really depends,
That's
but
still something.
I feel like I've got room in my heart for you.
Yeah.
Really, really, really depends.
I only don't trust people. The red flag is mostly when people are like... Usually when people frame their past as almost entirely traumatic to them, and they offer that up without being asked. That's usually suspicious to me. I've had enough people who are like unnamed individuals who have talked about, like, they always want to bring up, like, how bullied they were in school, and, like, anytime something bad happens, they bring up the situation, and they're immediately telling you how it affected them, and I eventually came to realize it's because they want to make sure you're perceiving it correctly before you know all the details, so that if any details become known to you, you're still on their side.
I know what you mean. I know this person also.
We literally both know this person, but I'm sure you know other ones as well.
Yeah, like Aaron types, even like from
Yeah, I do think it's a
type.
common thing. Mostly men. I just haven't known that many women, but like I'm sure it happens with women too.
I feel like I just have really nuanced takes on people, especially like people close to me. Foreign void concept people, like CEOs or wealthy people, like people who are far from like tangible in my life, because how could they be? But like people, like a coworker who I found out is like slightly problematic is not on my like cancelable list, like my own personal mental cancelable list, because I'm gonna be perpetually disappointed, honestly. And also because the line for me, I think, has just shifted, because I'm beginning to value community a lot as like I get older, which I think is like old people shit. And with it comes higher tolerance for a lot of different types of people, and it comes with like, it just comes with higher tolerance. Like, people are hard to tolerate, so you have to have more of that, and you have to be kind of like, you have to figure out where your line is, you know? Like, if people actively open up that they are willing to do things that like harm other people, I'm like, that's not chill. But if people are like,
well, once it gets to like celebrities and stuff, that's the point where it's like, I know
celebrities aren't people.
I know regular people accidentally do these bad things, so I know for a fact Kanye has done it. So it's always weird when people are like, "Well, hold on." It's like, no, absolutely not. He's done all the bad things. He's probably murdered someone before. Why would we know that? Like, he would have just gotten away with it. That's ridiculous to assume that he didn't do that.
I love that Ursa says, "I've not changed fundamentally since I was like 12. Just learned some stuff and got older."
I believe that about you.
I love this about you. This is fantastic lore drop on Polaris.
Backdoor said, "Alright, I'm back. What's the current conversation about? We just finished talking about rape in depth. So if you want to go back and listen to that,
we're back on a morality spectrum that I've been bitching about all night.
Y'all micro celebrities to some extent, and yeah, you shouldn't fucking trust us. You don't know anything.
What did
I
they
could
say?
be hiding all kinds of things from you.
What? Who said what? What'd you read? What comment did you read?
Cassandra said, "Ain't y'all micro celebrities to some extent?"
Oh.
Yeah, in that we are.
You think so?
I mean, in that we have a fan base. Not just this one. You got entirely
25 people? That's smaller than my Instagram followers.
You're on the channel. People know of you.
Alright.
People might even quote you. Who knows?
Also, yeah, actually, no. I agree with Kyle. We are micro-influencers. Be skeptical. Cancel us in your brain. And get the fuck out if you don't like us. I fully respect that. If you're like, I don't vibe with these people that give off icky fucking vibes, then please leave because you're valid and you're right and like, and do you have my full permission to hate the fuck out of us? Just don't be around me if you want to hate me. You know what I mean? Go somewhere else and hate me because like, I get it and I don't have time for it. I'm too busy trying to be someone I don't hate. You know what I mean? So if you hate me, if you're like, bad vibes, these vibes don't check out, you're right, go away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Am I right? Am I saying stupid shit?
No, I think you're completely right. There was a really early, it's one of my favorite Bo Burnham quotes, is like, do not stick with me through thick. If I stop entertaining you, kick me to the curb.
Backdoor says, yeah, I wouldn't trust Allison on many things. Were you one of those people who wouldn't give me the Death Note book? Because you're still wrong about that, and that one hurt my feelings. What do you fucking think I'd put in there? If I knew the single name of a CEO, it'd be at the top of that book. Like, obviously, I'd take out the baddest people first. Like, do you think I'm impractical?
Allison's exactly who you want to have that book. She has no moral qualms with just eliminating the people who are problems.
This is a joke for the FBI agents who are watching. It's for the fun.
Death Notes don't exist.
For the comedy, I would obviously never do anything.
There's no such thing. I'm not saying that Allison would kill someone. I'm just saying that in a universe... I'm saying hypothetically, if it was available, you know?
You have missed the point
like,
of Death Note entirely, Allison. Good! I'm not in Death Note. I'm in Capitalist America 2025. Names go in the book. And you know that they should. I don't actually never watch Death Note, so I just know that this is a thing about it.
Allison just like Kanye, that they both possibly murdered someone?
That would put me in a category with a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the only barrier into this category, that's a lot of possibilities.
Could Kyle have killed somebody? I mean, actually, anybody could have killed
Probably
somebody.
not.
I don't think it's actually super hard to kill someone.
Yeah, people kind of do that by accident.
I'm pretty sure you
sometimes.
could just like blink or sneeze or yawn in the car and kill somebody.
Yeah.
Actually, cars are a crazy
Sometimes
idea.
you just throw knives around and they hit people and then they're dead. You know? No one meant for it to happen.
What? A category including a lot of people,
a drink after that.
including anyone who listens to Allison's advice. I don't offer murder as like an immediate solution that often. Like, I feel like...
Okay, backdoor, add that one to the shirt list. I don't offer murder as an immediate solution that often. I think that should be the next shirt. Votes?
It's because some girl has come to me, is complaining about how her boyfriend didn't buy her anything for her birthday for the 5th time in a row, and that his underwear has giant streak marks on it. Some people shouldn't be around. How many adult men do you want walking around who are shitting their pants? Outside of, like, you know,
again,
the oldies.
If we demonize this fully, you're going to separate yourself from a lot more people than you think.
Me?
Everyone.
Just saying. On purpose. On purpose.
It's
they
more
could
likely
just
than
clean
you
their
think.
butt. So... What, we shouldn't murder them now? Bidets has been around how long? I'm just saying.
Bidets has been around how long? Can we add that one too?
Just saying.
Getting gold this episode.
I'm in a mood. I've been ruminating on some stuff lately.
Backdoor has pointed this out every time. Whenever we like take way too long, we stream for 2 fucking hours or however long it's been. And
Has it been 2 hours? I know that wouldn't even come on till
1:14.
That's
no, not
nothing.
Yeah,
that's
no
right. Time. Also not good, but also murder-worthy, jail time, maybe even for life, but murder. Again, this problem is solved if the worst people you know start in prison and have to work their way out.
Thanks for shutting that back door. I was literally just about to ask somebody to post it because I already forgot what it was.
What are we posting?
Your quote.
What did I say?
And this is why she's afraid of being canceled, actually.
Here's the thing. If you're still pooping your pants or not wiping your butt because you're gross and you think you can do that, you still don't have to do it in a way that lets someone else know. Do you know what I mean? So, like, a lot of steps have to happen before your long-term girlfriend notices this and then says something and then has it be her like, so many steps have to happen. So, like, maybe jail, but are we really taking murder off the table? Like, have y'all seen, Chicago?
Oh,
Pretty
yeah.
sure she killed that guy for chewing
so
bubblegum. Just saying. And did you disagree? He had it coming.
Such a good movie.
All I'm saying. Do you know what I mean?
Stop putting warning labels on stuff. See what happens, you know?
Good night. Good night.
Get out of here, Ursa.
I'm sorry you had to be here. I'm sorry I'm like this.
Where does this topic come from of shitting yourself?
Wow. Are y'all just not... Are no one here dating men? Or have dated men?
Maybe not. Good for you guys. No offense to the men.
Krell gets it. Krell and me.
Unless you poop pants, in which case offense intended. As there was a clear transition.
Yeah, it's not as weird as...
Yeah, we got there naturally.
I'm just... Dating me? Kate did.
You do sound
Kate
way
knows.
too busy.
Oh yeah, I know who you dated, Kate. Well, I know some of who you dated.
Yeah.
I know Thomas wasn't a problem. Thomas was grossed out by my habits. He could never. Thomas and I had to share a bathroom for our entire, like, childhood. And there's no way Thomas could ever be grosser than me, and I was not shitting my pants, for the
Homer
record.
says people don't date anymore. That's antiquated. That might be true. You might be one of the last surviving human beings to have had, like,
Is that a millennial
the
thing?
TV show dating experience. I'm not sure people do that anymore.
I think like neurotypical TM people still go out to like bars
That's
and
true.
clubs.
That's not who's in our chat. That's because we're not either. Like that's the club. Welcome.
Yeah. Yeah. That might be true actually. I feel like people within even my like really hot young coworker did not have the same experience. She had to meet people on like Tinder and stuff.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, she still ran into similar types of guys, but I don't think it's the same.
You've seen the worst one who is Slade.
Did y'all even go on dates? I know. Yeah, Allison did. Allison lived in a sitcom, like before we met. I didn't. I never dated anybody, and pretty much nobody else in Dorm Monster did either, because we were all a bunch of nerds.
Would you believe me if I said I go to bars and clubs sometimes?
Who said that?
Krell.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good job.
Have you dated a man?
I believe you. Yeah, that's the real
Just curious.
question.
You don't have to.
I go to bars sometimes now that I'm 30 and have a wife.
I actually don't know if I'm allowed to ask if you've dated men before. If that's like a.
I mean, you don't have to answer.
Well, yeah, I mean, don't answer,
question.
but I don't know if it's like personal now because it can imply things back about you that like it didn't in 2012. Do you know what I mean? Because now there's like the gender sexuality spectrum, so like you might say you
didn't exist in 2012.
I mean, back in 2012, I still think people were like iffy on bi.
Yeah, that's
at least people who were dumb and young like I was.
Well, yeah,
my peers were still iffy on bi.
It was not like a known cultural topic yet.
You still had to like prove you were bi, and kissing like the same gender was still not like
wasn't enough.
Like you still had to prove you were bi back in like back in the old days. That was like I don't know. Maybe it was just in my white
Thomas was the first person to take her on actual dates. Bi since 2005.
That's so
one of the
sad.
OGs. Yeah. Also, what?
That's so sad. I mean, when I was dating, it was
Cat
quote hanging
so
out.
much, but I don't know about what. Wait, Modcat is that Kate? Yeah, Modcat is Kate. Our Kate. Like Thomas and Kate, like in the videos. Like in the Zoomans video and stuff.
Sister-in-law.
Yes.
Technically.
Played Abigail in the Stardew video.
I went to a club exactly 2 weeks ago and have a few other times, but that's usually because they're doing an emo goth noise music / queer event. You know, back when I was going to, you want a little glimpse into how much I sucked. Back when I was going clubbing, one of my friends was like, oh my god, we should go to Emo's, which is the name of like a bar in Austin, Texas. They were like, we should go to Emo's. It's girls' night. And I was like, why would I do that?
Wow.
What am I gonna do
feminist.
at girls' night? Who am I gonna bang at girls' night? Are there men there? Because I've talked about my problems.
Probably there were.
Probably there were, but yeah, I was like, what am I gonna do with girls? Now I like really regret it because I bet they were having a fucking blast,
probably,
not getting roofied like other women were in my bars. But
man, best nights are not getting roofied.
and like I knew it sucked too. I knew it sucked because when I wasn't at a girls' night, I was at a normal club where I was squished between two of the ugliest men I've ever seen as they're just like dancing, both on me. I'm just in the middle because I got lost from the two people I came here with, and I'm like, this is better than girls' night. Like, what was I doing?
Seriously, like, if you, like, How I Met
I
Your
was getting
Mother,
my
Crazy
drinks
Ex-Girlfriend, like, you watch any of them, and it's just, you somehow, I didn't think that existed until I met you, and you were like, nope, I've done all of them. I've had every one of these experiences.
Thomas, for my 21st birthday, took me out to 6th Street. I went clubbing.
Yeah.
With my brother.
Yeah, that's cool.
It was actually a blast.
You two were probably a terror, in a good way.
Yeah, honestly, we continuously have been.
When they're teamed up, they are a force to reckon with.
I completely agree.
Add Allison's mom to the mix, no one's getting out alive.
There was a bar on 6th Street that I used to love going to because I don't actually like, my little sensitive stomach can't handle drinks. Like, people should never buy me drinks, but like they would ask to buy drinks. But there was this great $5 shot bar on 6th Street that was like the best. You would just buy a shot and like little Jello shots.
Shot bar, that's so cool.
Yeah, like buttery nipples and Jello shots, and like so it was just a full shot bar, and it was like fancy shots. It was just $5. I loved that place. The bad news is it was gonna collapse. Like, all the dancing happened on the second floor, and it was packed like sardines in there. So the only dancing you're doing is like you're stuck.
Everyone's favorite.
Or you're just making out with the person next to you. I actually might have pictures of the bazaar I went to. That was fun.
Is that the full costume one?
Mm-hmm.
That looked cool.
I don't regret any of it, but I understand now that
What did Kate say? My brother was present for my first lap dance. Yeah, Kate says stuff like that.
Well, Kate's brother did shit like that.
Also, yeah.
For your first lap? Was it in a house?
Kate, what the fuck? This is why I love Kate.
At least your brother wasn't your first lap dance.
Yeah, I feel like that could have just as easily been said somehow. But
Yeah.
I'm glad that wasn't the case.
Oh, it's actually.
I also want to know the story. We're waiting for the details here. Kate gets cooler and cooler every time I talk to her.
Kate's one of the coolest people you could ever know, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, we should get Cassandra and Kate to hang out in our game group more together.
Yeah, I can see that going really well,
they would
actually.
Get along well.
Yeah, I like this idea. Mafek says, my wife keeps trying to get me to go to a strip club, though. See, that's
interesting. Who said that?
Mafek.
Mafek. Oh.
Go.
Yeah.
Go.
I mean, yeah. Why not?
Go. I mean, like, I'm anti strip
Depends
club
maybe
in
on
my
the strip
partners.
Club. Like in.
Yeah, like in
like,
the stereotypical.
like if
I've
the
never
guy
had to
wants
worry
to go to a
about
strip
this
club.
with you, but like at some point I was like, no strip clubs, no porn, no whatever the other things are.
Yeah, that feels like a baseline.
No OnlyFans became a thing, but that was like after I was
That's
dating.
like running the Bechdel test on something. It's like you have to at least pass this, or you're not allowed in. Like
It was just because I was friends with girls that had different rules than me, and I just decided to adopt rules based on their pain. They would be like,
Yeah.
oh my god, my boyfriend went to a strip club and I'm upset about it. And I'm like, then just don't let him. Like, then just don't date those guys, I guess. And like
burlesque shows, it really depends. Again, Allison was part of a very straight heteronormative crowd, and if you're with that and your boyfriend is going alone to burlesque shows, no.
I'm not sure I've ever seen a burlesque show or know anything about it.
Why would he be doing that? What's the point? Why do?
If you had asked me about like burlesque in my 20s, I would have thought you were talking about something from like 1948. Like would have been like, what are you talking about? No, because he's not a trained track worker in overalls with a mustache. So no, he didn't go to a burlesque show. If you had asked me at like 23, I would have been like, no. Not when there's naked girls on poles did he go to a burlesque show.
Clubs introduce the Bechdel test for entry. Please talk about anything other than boys.
I don't like
Please stop calling me out, Allison.
Is that canon? Backdoor goes to
that sounds right.
Burlesque shows.
I think is a railroad worker with overalls and a mustache.
So he's going to burlesque shows.
So he's going to burlesque show. That's the entertainment in the village.
Mafex says, I don't like the idea of strip clubs. I think she just wants to go in her wants to go into her. I don't know what you're saying. I'm so sorry.
I think she just wants to go into her non-male sexual attracted side. I don't fully get what it's saying either.
Like girl strip clubs. Like where the girls are stripping. I don't know why.
That's the default?
Yeah, I don't know why I thought of a male strip club. I don't know why when Mafex said my wife wants me to go to a strip club, I thought men.
Interesting.
I don't know why. I was probably projecting. I've had a lot of people ask if I wanted to go to male strip clubs, and I wish I had taken him up on it. Just once.
Kate said I love the attention I got from cute girls at the strip club. I don't know how to explain it. I'm sure you did. There's no way that they would not. Everyone loves Kate.
I know how to explain it. Gay. It's the gay part. Also, I've never met a strip girl. I've never met a stripper I didn't like. Every stripper I've known has been sick as fuck.
How could you be
Actually,
when
there was one stripper I didn't love that I worked with at Olive Garden, and she was just a bit much. She was just a bit much. I would walk in, hungover, sad, tired, depressed, dehydrated, into my Olive Garden shift where I'd have to lift 50-pound trays because Olive Garden plates are like toddler heavy.
Yeah, I can't imagine that. Actually,
I had a tray of 4 different.
She stripped at Olive Garden. It was an after dark Olive Garden.
That's right.
Adults only.
Not for family.
Right. Yeah.
When
you're here, you're over 18 legally.
And not related. She was the one I told you that I would walk into work and she'd be like, last night I stuck a dildo to my shower wall and it was great. And I'm like 19, like, she was like 30 something and she would come in and tell me these stories and I'm like,
thanks, I'm a child.
But it was the kind of relationship where she's like, you ever had a stick-on dildo? And I'm like,
this also sounds like a television character.
It was.
Life is strippers are so wise, like they've been in active combat. Yeah, that's why. Yeah, there's no way.
How it went. Nope. Hell yeah. Like whatever.
The fact that I'm high. She is pan. She likes women too, but is married to me. I think she wants to see women in that sexual setting to explore that side because she didn't really get a chance to explore that.
I think I should go.
That's cool. I think that's cool.
I think I should go and have a good time.
It's genuinely a scene from Shameless.
I've told you guys I applied at a strip club. Not as a stripper, but as a...
I think I forget that one pretty regularly, actually.
It's because it's a non-store...
As like what, a server?
It was specifically like a drink server, because they don't do food, at a really scary bar. That I wish I could remember the name of.
I do remember the scary, yeah.
Because I know Kate would know it. I know Thomas would know it.
Oh, do you remember that one time when we were together where you went in to apply for a photography job and it was like definitely porn?
Oh.
Like they didn't say it in the interview.
The yoga YouTube channel?
Because they were trying, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Allison accidentally uncovered, touched like a weird porn company ring.
I think about my strip my stripper coworker Buzzy says this is genuinely a scene from Shameless.
Yeah.
I have not watched. I can't tell if Shameless is something I would like or not, because I haven't seen it. But is it like Degrassi? If it's like Degrassi, I'll watch it. But I can't tell what it is. I've only seen clips and like know it exists. But
the fact that I think as an adult I'm better with being friends with women, but I don't know why. I could explain to you why.
Perhaps they're better.
Because I also have had
Because
this
Kyle's
experience.
a misandrist.
Yeah, it's because you are now a grown, conscious human being, and most men take a long time, if ever, to achieve that, because they're just not urged to do so. It's not anything that's inherently wrong with men. It's just that, like, you're not socially conditioned to be emotionally aware or intelligent, and that makes it really hard to be friends with the people who have to be, since they're like 6. So they don't tend to be friends that way unless they get good, which you have, and so that's why it works.
I think the honest answer, it has to be social conditioning, right?
And then
like,
you can't be friends with men either, because you look at them and they're like, wow, you are shitty, you don't know anything and you don't care to know anything. That's how it goes.
I think the hardest thing I have about being friends with men, the hardest thing I've had to get over, is how infrequently they call each other out. And that's what really bothers me, because every man I've known has not vibed with most of the opinions that get circulated in the friend group. And what's crazy is that I've known, like, for example, 3 different guys all in one friend group. None of them think jokes about, like, drugging women is funny. But one of them will still make the joke, and 2 of them will still laugh.
Right.
It's kind of this thing that I've seen, and this is the hardest thing I have.
They're all trying to perform for somebody who weirdly isn't in the room.
Doesn't exist.
Yeah.
But they're all not trying to, like, get on each other's bad side or cause problems or be weird. And, like, this is the hardest problem I've had. And, like, the only men I fuck with call people out, which is, like, Thomas is one of the few people I've literally seen tell another man, that's not cool. Don't say that.
Right. Yeah. Ricky, I've seen Ricky do it.
Ricky would 100% do that. I even think Ian would do it. Ian's done it to me. Been like, I don't like what you just said.
That's true.
And it's like really, I mean, I'm not a man though. It's harder, I think, for men to call out other men and be like.
It is. I don't think I ever did it actually, but I didn't associate with those people. Like I just didn't.
Oh no, this was a problem you had. I would
say it's a problem I had. I mostly didn't associate with them, but I was very non-confrontational.
But if they did say something or step on like a line, you didn't say anything.
That's true. I would just never see them again instead.
That's true. That's probably why we still get along, because you would be like, well, I don't have to ever talk to him if you don't want me to.
Which I think probably is more like the Matt category. I'm not sure if Matt has ever just like openly called people out, but I do know Matt will just like not associate with people he doesn't like.
I don't think Matt would call somebody out. He would just share his opposing opinion very loudly.
He might do that, yeah.
Like, I think he'd be like, I don't know if I agree.
At this point, I would fully call someone out, but I definitely didn't when I was like a teenager.
I think Matt would actually call somebody out. I think he would, like, if a dude says something like out of line, I think he'd be like, yeah, I don't think that makes any sense.
He might. He might.
Maybe not in like a don't say that kind of way, but in like a that sounds like maybe something somebody stupid would say.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I could see that.
Like, I don't know. Backdoor says, I'm partially convinced the idea of sex as a fun thing is just allosexual gaslighting. And I'm also in that boat. A little. Is it ever fun? Or are we all lying? Do you know what I mean?
Honestly, I kind of get it too. I feel like everybody has made it like,
you know what,
hyped it up a little.
I think
more
I
than
think
it actually
is fun, but I think people don't talk about the requirements for it to be fun, which is a mild amount of disassociation. Being like 2 there is like too much, because then you're like thinking about what sex is, and also like and then, but if you're like 2 there, then you're also thinking about not sex things, which is not cool.
It's kind of like trying to eat while thinking about everything that went into your food.
Yeah, which is why I can't eat sausages anymore.
Yeah.
Because that's how it is. Every time I eat a sausage, my brain is like, I know what's in this. Or that one picture I saw. Yeah. And now it's not possible.
Backdoor just noticed the chat. The chat's not on stream because I tried to plug it in today, and for some reason it just kept giving a YouTube error page, and I did not have time to figure out what the fuck was going on. So it's just not on it's not embedded in the stream this time.
Kate agrees that Matt would say it in his own Matt way.
Yeah, okay.
Oh my god! Hey, wait, is that the 4 Seasons in Art Nouveau behind? Yes, it is! Fucking love that picture.
Yeah.
Absolutely love
Somebody else must
that.
have that.
I hope so. Good. That's why you can hang.
Give us the YouTube error.
Allison,
Okay.
can you write a 5-paragraph essay on
There
what
you
sex
go.
is?
It's the monkey. It's broken. Doesn't work.
That's such a cute error. Is that real?
That's what YouTube's error page does that.
Aww.
Thanks, I appreciate it. You're welcome, clever username.
Anyway. The amount of asexual people I know that I never thought I would know. I didn't think it was real for like the longest time. I didn't think anything was real. I'm a millennial.
You basically challenged the universe and were like, I don't believe any of this stuff, and it was like, okay. Challenge accepted.
I believe concepts exist, but for some reason I'm skeptical of immediate self-claims. Like, even in high school, like, someone would be like, someone who's only ever dated men would be like, oh, I'm actually bi, and I'm like, now did that,
I'm not sure that's real.
Did that do anything? Like, no. Like, no, I didn't say it to their face. I would just think it in my head, like,
right.
That's so weird how not bi you are in all your actions, but okay. Or like when Katy Perry kissed a girl, I was like, that bitch is still straight. Like,
well, you were right.
Yeah.
Like that was.
I'm not sure Katy Perry thinks so, though. I don't know. And
I'm
like,
not sure Katy Perry thinks.
Now I know that as an adult, it's taboo to like theorize about people's gender and sexuality when they've told you otherwise. But at the time, you couldn't have convinced me there was more than just like this standard. Like I was everyone's grandma in that way.
You talked before too, where you would like kind of. What's the right word? Like dismissive, maybe, of like people talking about certain like recurring health problems and stuff, and then got smacked with all the recurring health problems. Like you've been nerfed on a regular basis.
I didn't think ADHD was real. I didn't think anxiety was real.
I'm still firmly established that you were like set out to be just the worst, most horrible person, and somebody out there beyond the simulation was like, we're gonna correct this. You will be taught.
Now I'm worried because I just told a friend that I'm bi. If your friend doesn't suck as much as I did in my 20s, you're probably fine.
Yeah. And also I will say the environment of the time definitely definitely helped mold your perspective. Like telling a friend you're bi now has a much less likely chance of them like doubting that than it did in 2012.
Yeah.
When we were all told it was made up. You know, like it's
I mean, if it helps,
it was a different time.
If it helps, it was also really cool to make it up. Like it was like very trendy. It was like the hot topic, like edgy alternative thing. Like everyone was a little bit bi. They're not all anymore. Not all of them, because I followed them on Facebook until they had kids and like lived their whole life.
Some of them are Kate.
Some of them are Kate.
But some of them are just Christians, and they were lying, I guess. I don't know.
No, because some of them are Christians and they were just lying.
Right.
Like some of them I went to high school with, and then they joined their like Christian.
Is it playing the fucking Christmas music again? I swear to God.
What luck we have. That's all. But yeah, I don't know. Like, you guys just never met a poser before? I don't know how else to say it. Like, were we just too late for posers?
I'm not saying that the current climate of unconditional acceptance isn't good for a lot of people, but it does let posers pose.
I am.
You know,
Wait, I've talked about this before.
Posers be posing, and we definitely allow that to happen.
Unconditional acceptance groups need to be... I've talked about this.
Yeah, that's true.
You're too easy to take advantage of if you're unconditionally accepting of all things all the time forever and ever. And the worst person you know or don't know but will eventually know is going to look at those unconditional acceptance people and they're going to go, these are my people.
Feeding
now.
Ground for predators, though, right? Like,
Just
I mean,
saying.
this is, yeah.
Not in the conservative way.
Right. We're saying this in the very...
On our side of the spectrum.
In the very understanding, liberal way.
Yeah, because I didn't mean politically. I literally mean, like, that weird narcissist that has found that, like, the easy people to take advantage of are the nice, kind people.
Right.
Will...
Like...
join your group.
Neil. Like Joss Whedon. Like, that's what they do.
Our house is not that dirty. I've seen so many orbs.
Okay, but I've also seen specks of dirt fly past my face in between here and the camera, so I do think there's, like, dust or something. I don't know what's kicking it up everywhere, but I do think there's physical stuff in the air.
Happy Hanukkah to you too.
Vector says, dude, I've been hearing a lot of we need to gatekeep more, and that's a disappointing statement. Yeah, I feel like that's taking what we're saying further than we mean it. Just, like...
Not gatekeep. Gatekeep doesn't feel like the right word.
Right.
I think a little bit more people need to be a little bit more on guard a little bit more often, because as things get bigger and more well known, people will literally integrate into those systems so that they can feel powerful within them. Like, anyone who's got an ego problem is not above any method to use people for their ego. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's the free ring demons. This is my favorite.
It's the free ring demons.
It's my favorite analogy of recent experience. Honestly, it's just the most perfect. Like, there's this real kind of person that just like there is a type of person that will learn the words to say that will make you accept them and excuse anything that they do, and they will say it, and they don't have any morality behind what they're saying, and and they're everywhere. they're the demons.
On guard like a gate. Maybe it is gatekeeping.
And there are little ones, and then there are some of them that are president.
I think we need a healthy skepticism of anyone who suddenly thinks they've figured something out, even when that thing is themselves. I like that.
Yeah, I like that too, I think.
I like that.
One thing that, a way that I've started to look at it is that I definitely am suspicious of, again, men, sorry, but like they do it. It's I'm skeptical of men who, have had an epiphany. One. The guys that are like,
not multiple epiphanies?
I had this whole life, and then I had like this big epiphany realization. I had an awakening, as Neil would say, and then I was different. Like, people that say that I don't trust, because if you are, how do I say it exactly? Because I once had an epiphany, and then I had 200 more of them. And eventually, they just stop. They're not epiphanies anymore. Like eventually you start, like, it stops being a big deal. Eventually it just starts being you were lied to. The currency loses value when you just start paying attention and realizing that you're wrong about stuff, and that you have to constantly update your knowledge. And so the people who call it an epiphany or an awakening or something, and now are a guru who sell, like, there's also this guy named Rick Rubin who I fucking hate.
We have words for these. Millennials have words. Millennials have a word for this, and it's literally a poser.
Yeah,
like, it's literally someone for the clout or whatever the new word is, but like, it's someone who for the attention will put on the mask of the people that they know will appreciate them the most and wear it like a fucking creep. Like, it doesn't matter what group you're in. That person exists to just be in it.
I feel like I'm actually talking about the people who genuinely think that they have become, like, knowledgeable and educated.
Those are the worst people. Those are the worst.
Because they had a realization once. They did drugs and then had some kind of.
I think I'm talking about the same person, actually.
You might be. It might. There's. I mean.
I think I'm also.
The line is very blurry. Like,
the same person in my head also thinks they're doing it for, like, I don't know, a reasonable not really, though.
That's true. Most people are not telling themselves that they're taking advantage of other people. I think I just have
too much experience with what I feel like is, like, casual narcissism.
Factory says I'm starting to realize I might like Kate more than Allison.
Mood. I think you'd really like Kate.
What was the last thing she said? I really want to open a tattoo shop that is free of all the gatekeep and accommodates everyone of the neurodivergent and slightly abled, and differently abled variety, and run that shit until I'm an old grumpy stoner lady. I
would never do that, so strong agree.
Love you to do that. Great. Texas is not the place to do that.
I think you would also vibe with Kate's perspective more.
You probably would.
I'm really hard to vibe with. Like, you have to just really like.
You're a particular taste, I guess.
You just have to really like whatever the fuck this is, and if you don't, then you know. Then you probably go really back and forth between, like, hot and cold on me, which is very reasonable.
I do think New York would give you a loan, Kate. They're very good on that.
I actually think New York would be stoked for that idea. Like, I think they would really like that concept. basically anywhere in New York, I think would really like that
Wait,
concept.
Kate, did we meet? Yeah, Kate played Repo with us.
Yeah.
Cass said, what you guys have said has given me a new revelation. I am forever a changed person. Buy my book.
Yeah, you guys get it. Mefek and Kate played Repo together? Yes.
We don't do secret exclusive video game sessions with only a few people. What are you talking about?
I'm extremely easy to win over. And Mefek did it, so now we play video games together.
Is the way to buy you things?
No. Because I also like Ursa a lot.
That's true. And Ursa hasn't bought you shit.
Yeah. I actually like Ursa too much.
You might like Ursa a little too much.
Anytime Ursa does a thing, I'm like, I love that Ursa does that thing. And Kyle's like, that's like not a thing. And I'm like, I think it's great that she does it. That's so cool of her. Allison doesn't agree with anyone. She just lassos them and yanks them towards her opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to like that to like Allison.
I agree.
Which I obviously love.
Do I agree with other people? I agree with? No, I actually
Not
no.
really.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with you on that vector. I don't. People need to like
me. I think you have agreed with me. You have like taken on my opinions of things, but I have not seen you do it much with other people.
Yeah, what is that? I don't do that.
Why do you not take
Agree
on other
with
people?
Yeah.
Because you think they're wrong.
I think they could be wrong. I think they could be wrong. Everything I hear has to.
You are very, very picky about what perspectives you adopt, and there are a very limited number of whitelisted people whose opinions you just trust enough to like take it on when you hear it from them. So. You want to tell other people your thoughts, like it's important to you in the relationship that you get to explain what you think and how and why to the person, and if they can't hear that and handle it, then it doesn't really work out.
Y'all can blame Thomas for that. Thomas and I used to stay up until 2 a.m. just like philosophizing about life. Like
again, they were
he'd
gonna
randomly
be
like, what about ghosts? And then like 3 hours later we'd have every
What about
conversation you could
ghosts?
ever have about a ghost or whatever. You know what I mean? Mostly it was actually a lot of Christian stuff, but like still there were so many. Like well, and if I'm being honest, some of y'all are too nice. Like you're too. I don't know. Like it's hard for me to accept the opinions of like really nice
Allison
people
does
who
not
are
like nice people.
I like nice people. It's just like y'all just never met someone who sucks before? Like that'll change your whole fucking life. I don't know. Actually, the nicest people I know have been through some of the worst shit, and I just don't understand it. I'm just like, what? And we're not advocating for murder because I don't know. I think you're right. You're onto something that I don't agree with people. I don't know what to make of this assessment. I don't necessarily argue with everyone about anything they've ever said, and like I do agree with things people say, but I'm never just like on board with someone's whole thing or like whole vibe.
Maybe it's kind of what we were talking about earlier though, and it's just about like you have like the need to get to like dig to the bottom of the topic every time, and maybe just to some people it feels like overly critical.
Yeah. See, Clever says you should never change your opinions on anything, ever. Double down, triple down, never give an inch. Subscribe for more advice. I don't do that. I change my opinions all the time, but I change my opinions.
Yeah, that's true.
Someone will, like, instigate, but my opinions change probably too often, actually. Or not. I don't know.
You're pretty back and forth, but it is all you. You make the decision. People aren't convincing you of anything. The opposite is that I tend to just sort of, like, go with other people's flow way too much. I'm learning how to like establish my own reality as like its own solid thing.
Allison being suspicious of nice people is very Allison, but also probably not great for the mental health. Everybody needs a little bit of an edge, or else I honestly it kind of feels like
no. I actually kind of feel the same way. I have trouble. I mean, I literally just talked about this. I really like all of my friends are the people who can be like, yeah, I used to suck like this. These are my problems. I've done these things.
Yeah. I've just never met a person who's nice and like stayed nice. I have met some people actually, but like it feels very rare that nice is like properly genuine and not like a facade of
Buzzy
something.
says, I'm incredibly suspicious of my smiling, friendly boss, but that's because he quietly institutes anti-employee policies when he's not at the store. That's exactly it. You can't trust the smilers.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think of like, I'm trying to like use genuinely nice people in like my thoughts.
Yeah.
And like genuinely nice.
Well, I think it's because it's about the nice thing.
Oh, you know what it is? I might just actually not value the quality of nice.
Yeah, I think, yeah, right.
That might be it.
Because that quality alone isn't important, because horrible people can be nice. It doesn't mean you're horrible if you are nice, it's just that, like, it's independent of morality to be nice. Some of the worst people I've known have been very nice. They've been very polite. They've, like...
You know what I feel
things.
like? I feel like the analogy of a double-edged sword. And you just have to be like a risk taker to like enjoy me. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, you are a double-edged sword.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Because like everyone really likes the energy I'll bring to their boss or their mother that they hate or their ex. But if the energy ever is like shifted towards them, suddenly it's like, whoa,
Right.
this person's a problem.
Can you handle Allison doing all the things she's doing in this podcast to you personally? If the answer is no, you're probably not in the very limited group of people that can be your close friends.
I'll still be your friend after. You just
you will. It's about whether or not they will.
Yeah. I just like...
And maybe...
If you like the call-outs, expect a call-out. Like, I don't know. But I don't mean it like in a deep, personal, I'll never talk to you and I hate your guts kind of way. I mean it in like the, it's second nature. You said something and I said something back and probably louder. Oops.
Right. But the problem is when you do that, you are then imitating actual horrible abusive people that have interacted with those people before.
How am I imitating actually horribly abusive people?
Because most people haven't interacted with people that say blunt criticisms without meaning it as a means to hurt them. It's not your fault.
That's not what I was thinking in my head of as a call-out. Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean and why you think that, but I do think it feels that way sometimes to other people. Based on how I've seen people react to you.
Yeah. I think you're right, actually. A call-out would feel exactly like that now
if
that
you
I
don't
think
know the
about it.
difference, if you haven't interacted with somebody
Because the worst person
who can criticize you without hating you.
I know what you mean now.
You know?
I know what you're saying. And I agree, actually. I think that is part of the problem, is that, like, you need to... If you spent a lot of your time being criticized by terrible people, and then you have somebody who then, like, also criticizes again, then I can see how it would be, like, too much.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Chill.
Which is why all my exes told me my standards are too high. But I didn't mean that, like, they had to be applied. They just are standards I have, like, passively in my head. If that makes any sense. Hello?
Do you need something?
The boss comment kind of put together the type of guy in my mind, grinning, plastic high class who will be dripping with being nice, but we'll still grind you to the dust for a few more dollars.
Known a few then?
It's my last boss.
Yeah. Yeah, it's literally the boss that we talked about. She's being so loud. Why is she... Yeah, I don't... She's complaining right now.
She's got something to say. Maybe she's seen the orbs.
Maybe.
If my friend made a joke about drugging women, it would be nice to laugh, and it would be kind to call them out.
That's
what Oliver said.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I agree with that completely.
I agree with that statement. But I wouldn't call them out kindly.
The kindness is calling them out. But yeah, well, no, you wouldn't call them out nicely, I think is the point, right? Like
kindly. I make a face. You know what? I learned this about myself much later. I make faces that I don't know that I'm making.
So do I.
And so when
probably
people, if someone made a joke, I'd be like, "What's the joke?" And in my head, I'm asking a question, and in their head, I'm not asking a question.
Right. You've already decided on what the answer is.
And I don't understand the way that I'm perceived, but I think it's much worse than I'm ever meaning it to. So, like, if I'm calling you out, I mean it very casually, and, like, we can work through this and come on the other side of it as, like, friends and, like, everything's fine. But I don't think it feels that way in the moment, and I don't know how to make it feel different.
No, you definitely have this ability. Well, it's also, and it actually becomes way clearer if you watch Allison and her family. They do the Italian thing, and if you know like New York Italians, you know what I'm talking about. But Allison will say stuff to her mom that I would never say to my worst enemies, and so when you get into fights sometimes. Like, it's just really easy, and like early on in our relationship, it was like I also like we had to work through this too, because if you get into a fight with Allison, you don't know what's going on. You're like, oh, this relationship is over, and in her mind, is like that was a conversation, like that was a conversation, and now it's over, and now we're on to the next thing. But you're like, she hates me. This is done. Like we cannot come back from this. Especially if you're like me, coming from a family where nobody ever talks about their problems at all, because like the mildest tone shift sets everybody off. But then say you get around Allison's family trying to, I don't know, decide what food to order, and you're like, dear God,
God forbid you guys watch a fly on the wall in an escape room with this group of people.
Oh my God!
Suddenly Thomas and I are like, Mom, have you ever had a thought in your life?
Hilarious.
But Mom gets different in an escape room. I don't know what's going on. My lawyer nurse mother, who has like 8 degrees and could kick your ass, is suddenly like, do you think all the stars on the wall, like, do you think all the stars on the wall are like part of it? It's like, no, I don't. That's a poster. Don't stop touching it. Don't touch that.
See, but okay, so like, see how Allison's saying that right now as a joke? She literally says that in that tone to another person, and so that's why if you're a normal person like the rest of us, and you watch them talking that way, you're like, no one actually talks this way unless they hate each other. That is the difference. That's why people like don't know what to do with you. Sorry.
I worry, unfortunately, that too many people in this chat do not like this vibe, and that makes me very sad that we wouldn't be friends IRL. But
well, we've explained it, so maybe they would know now. But like most people don't get the opportunity to have that explained to them to even make the decision. They just hear you do that, and they're like, "Wow, she hates me. I'm not going to talk to her anymore."
Kyle literally told me once, I would not talk to my worst enemy the way you talk to your own mom. But I've never said anything horrible to my mom. We're best friends.
Yeah, best relationship that I've ever seen between a mother and her daughter.
Thomas is like this too, though. So in all fairness, I don't know. He's probably not like this to Kate. I've only seen him. You prepped Thomas for me, Allison.
Yeah, that's probably true.
That's true. We knew each other. Oh, I warned Kate about Thomas.
No, I think she means like you, like Thomas dealing with you prepped him to have her. I think is what she's saying.
Oh, then I prepped Thomas. Oh, I prepped Thomas. I also warned Kate about Thomas, though. As soon as Thomas was interested in Kate, I went to her and I was like, Thomas is gonna hunt you, and then he's gonna want you to marry him. He's got his eyes on you like a fox. And she was like, oh, well, I kind of like him. And I was like, oh, okay, well, then this should probably work itself out. But no, I agree. I prepped Thomas for...
Clever gets it. He says, the only person in the world I've ever sent death threats to is my older brother, to whom I text at least once a day on average. He's cool, though.
Yeah. Well, and people are always allowed to be like, hey, what did you mean by that? But then they don't do, like, Mefek says...
Right.
Mefek says... Wait, who said this?
Here?
No, Backdoor. Sorry, Backdoor said, I feel like I could get used to being IRL in-person friends with Allison, but it would take a hot second. You do have to, like, you just have to do things for you. That's very important.
Yeah.
Around people like me who just sort of, like, firebend in different directions, you have to have the things, like, prepared for yourself to be protected. So if I say something or do something, you need to be like, did you mean that how it sounded? And then I'm probably going to be like, no. Right.
You just have to be ready to just hit it, just face it head on. It took me a bit, too. This, like, it's, it probably helps, too, that I had, I grew up with Reed, who was
Kate's so cute.
In this direction.
Oh, yeah. That's true. Me and my one brother are very hostile to each other, but it's fine. My parents never really saw it that way, though. We're not... I wouldn't call it hostile. It's a love language of sorts. It's just one way you could put it, like how Kyle would talk to his mother in an escape room would be like, Mom, I think that's just a poster. But Thomas and I are like, don't you have 2 degrees? Are you not the boss of 20,000 people? Can you not figure this out?
Right. And she just laughs.
Mom, the button is on the bottom of the flashlight. It's that kind of stuff, right? Where like.
Yeah. And she laughs and then does it to you when you do something stupid. Like
That's true. When we have to order food.
Right.
And then suddenly we're all fighting about food, and it's like, oh well, this is spawns of Satan's all trying to order together. Kate and Kyle literally sit out ordering food. They will go to the other side of the room, and they will look at each other and start talking about Magic the Gathering, while the three of us, me, Thomas, and my mother, attempt to order food.
If a fourth person gave their input, it would extend it by another hour. Like, there's...
Scott also has learned to sit on the other side of the room. Or go, I think we should just order pizza. He's good about that. He's one of those. He is one of those that when the fire bending comes out... That's my mom's boyfriend. But like when the fire comes out, he's the one that goes like, "Did you mean that? How it sounded?"
Yeah, that's
which is why he works with my mom.
Right.
But yeah, you always need this.
I think I usually just waited, and then eventually I just observed. I was just always very quiet and observed, and eventually pieced together like, oh, okay, this is the baseline.
Kate says, I slowly started to share my anger with the rest of your family. Yeah, and what did we do? Nothing. You get angry, and we're all like, welcome to the family.
Now it's my rage era. I'm gonna be the one that starts yelling shit in your family now.
I just wanted to stop
listing restaurants.
We'll literally be like,
the decision will have been made, and your mom is still reading off restaurant options.
It'll take 25 minutes to go for me to be like, I could do Torchy's, and Thomas is like, I could do Torchy's, and Mom will be like, and there's Olive Garden, and there's
So
the Red
true.
Lobster, and we could go to Taco Bell, or we could do that pizza place that just opened up, or we could go out, and it's like, Mom, just said where we want to go. You can tell Kate's been a part of this, because she's letting it all out in chat. Anyway, but we're all friends. We're best friends. Like, and we can't even order pizza together, so I don't know. And if that doesn't sound like your vibe, that's valid, because who the fuck wants to do that? What if you all just sat around and were nice to each other? That's perfectly reasonable. That's perfectly fine. Olive Garden, maybe she wanted to go to a strip club.
We nearly hit the 2-hour mark.
Alright.
So maybe we should call it.
I guess.
I gotta get up and work in the morning.
You don't have to.
Kind of. But I kind of do.
I will never stop eating with any of you. And then we all really enjoy our food, though, because we're Italian.
Yeah. It's actually great for me, who for most of my existence with you, has been very content to just, like, sit and observe the interactions.
But I will say, I have utility. Like, if you're maybe the kind of family who all does the opposite thing, where it's like, what does everybody want? And then you all sit in silence because you're, for some reason, part of a family where maybe nobody wants to be the first person to say something. I'll just say pizza. Like, sometimes I'm worth having around. Like, maybe it's a little aggressive, but when you bring me around your non-aggressive family, I will instigate. I will do the thing. And if someone's like, well, what are we gonna, very quietly and peacefully, everybody's like, what thing should we do? I'll just have a feeling about it. Like, I don't know.
Becca really wants to know if you have a job yet, which she does not.
I do not have a job yet. I've been working with, I don't have a job because I am, my family is coming up here in about a week, and I didn't want to get a job to have to immediately take off for that week.
Yeah.
But I am working the same thing I told you guys last time about the coworker who wants to hire me to do the other stuff. I will work with her as soon as I start that part, but I don't know. Yeah, and none of you guys have shitty exes. This is the best part about me. I will stalk your ex. I will go on his Facebook, I will create a new one, and I will send him text messages pretending to be a scorned ex-lover. I will message his mother the things he's texted you. I will call Amazon, and I will yell at them for it. Like, I have perks. Like, yes, maybe we're fighting a little bit, but I will kill your enemies. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? So, like,
it's great.
I have purpose. I'm just a little spicy. Just...
She's a little, spicy firebender.
Like, we're on the same side. I'm just a little difficult. But, like, you're not utilizing me. Sick me after your enemies, and then you will understand the depth of my friendship.
Have I mentioned the Kiyoshi comparison yet? I feel like I have before.
My ex is fine with the fuck.
You've read the Kiyoshi books? Allison
Well, then
is,
not your
Allison
ex.
is Ranji.
How's your mom?
Or your bank. Allison will call anybody for you and
Or
just.
your bank.
We seriously have talked multiple times about her starting a service where she just calls people for you when you don't want to deal with it. So if you're just like, I feel like I was mistreated and taken advantage of by this company, Allison would be like, yeah, well, I don't know, pay $10 or something, and I'll do the phone call for you.
Didn't I help somebody with this? There was a grocery store thing.
Didn't you? Yeah, you helped one of our. Was it Polaris or was it?
I think it was Polaris. I think it was.
Or was it Grace? Maybe.
That's the problem. See, this is what's happening. Is I utilize my friendships as soon as I figure out what you're good for. I'm like, let's do this. Like maybe you're a gossip. We're gossiping, or maybe you're like Cass, who's like funny, that I'm gonna text you. We're gonna laugh all day. We're gonna say stupid shit at each other all day, so we can be giggling like little girls all day. Like it's matching the dynamics. But if you haven't learned to sick me after your enemies, then you have no idea what kind of friend I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like,
I don't even have to ask anymore, Allison. Just.
You really had to reach there. No, I was trying to figure out which thing I was going to mention about you, and the first 3 that I went through, I decided were not. I'm looking for the right word again.
Who said this?
Cass.
Oh.
I landed on funny, but I went through 3 different words, and then landed on that one. They're not safe for work or anything. They're not the vibe that I wanted to.
I don't want to go mess with my new phone.
Okay. Text us. Just kidding. We're not friends like that.
Text us. Call us. Call me. Beat me. If you want to reach me. I have a new cell phone. Thank you for joining on the stream, everybody. It was fun. We'll be back sometime. Who knows? We're bad at doing this regularly.
I love and I miss you, Kate. I'll see you soon.
Hey, it's happening. Haha. I don't know who that is. Oh, it's you.
What do you mean don't know who it is?
Other people have my number.
Oliver says, hey, real quick before you go, absolutely no expectation, but it would mean the world to me if one or both of you would check out the thing I'm writing and give me your thoughts on it. Send it to me. I'm the only one who's got the time, and then if I...
That's true.
And then if Kyle's got the time, I'll send it to Kyle.
And then Allison will make me do it if it's, yeah, if it's something that she can, that I have time for.
Send it to me. That's your best bet.
If you just send it to me, it'll get
I promise nothing,
forget.
but send it to me because it's your best bet.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Is it the same? It is the same numbers. Is that a kid possible?
We're back around.
All right.
Goodbye, everybody.
Sorry for the things I said.